Welcome everyone to week 2 of the IPA 2018 season. I am Dave, your coach of the West Haven Weezings, and today we're facing Jarem and the Grand Canyon Charziards. Now, we have a little history with them this season. We actually faced them once already during the preseason, and I'm sure Jarem's going to want to get a little revenge on us, so we got to be a little careful this week. Jarem's team is absolutely horrifying. Just look at his tier 1. Charizard, Azumarill, Venusaur. Now remember, in the IPA, you can use any item you want. You are not limited into what items you can use. So he has access to 3 powerful megas in one tier. Add on top of that, he has Azumarill, which is a known beast and can have many different sets. His tier 1 is absolutely horrifying. Go down to tier 2, and it's not much better. He has that special wall in Blissey, which is a great cleric. He has Hydreigon, which is terrifying, even if you have a Fairymon, which I do have one, but we're not using the Fairy move this week for another reason, but that's okay. Unfortunately, Tapu Koko does not get Play Rough, which I don't understand, but he doesn't. So, he has Aerodactyl, that's another Mega. In Tier 3, he has Tentacruel, Umbreon, and Silvally, which... I mean, Tentacruel and Umbreon are way more of an issue than Silvally is. Silvally, basically, it's like a shitty Arceus, and because you can basically make it whatever typing you want, that's considered somewhat of a threat in Draft League because you don't know which version you're getting, but it's not a big deal. In Tier 4, he has Garbodor, Golem, and Stoutland. Garbodor is a lot better than people give it credit for. It's really good in Draft League. It's bulky as hell, can set up hazards, can hit with physical attacks, can toxic. It's a very solid mon, and I definitely prepared for it just in case, because I know he likes bringing it to set up spikes and toxic spikes. And Stoutland is another really good mon that hits hard. Unfortunately for him, he could have had a Sand Setter and make it that much better, because it does get Sand Rush, which just increases its speed when sand is up, but he doesn't have that. But either way, Stoutland does get some pretty good moves, and it's definitely something to consider watching out for. And Golem, it gets sturdy. I mean, it's 4 times weak to water and grass. It's not a Alolan Golem. So, but I did prepare for it just in case, because I like to prepare for everything. So with that said, let's get to the team. First up, we have Montezuma, the Tapu Koko, which I'm going with a Choice Scarf physical set, and I'm bringing this for a specific reason. One, Hydreigon is not going to do much damage to this thing, other than I think it might get Sludge Wave, and I know it gets Earth Power, but if it's Scarfed, it's going to outspeed the Hydreigon, so I don't have to worry about that. I can U-turn out of there if I have to. I really want this thing for the Electric Surge. I want the Electric Terrain, because it's a big part of our strategy, and I'm sure you could figure it out already, since you can see other members of the team already. But I went with the Jolly set, boosted attack, boosted speed, and boosted special defense, even though it doesn't really matter too much. Up next, we have Wesley Sniped, our Claydol, and I'm going with leftovers because we're not going to set up screens this time. We don't need to. It's not a big deal. I went with Stealth Rock to set up our own hazards, Toxic, just to poison something if we need to, probably the Blissey, even though it gets Natural Cure, but a little bit of damage on it is better than nothing. Rapid Spin to get rid of his hazards, because he's likely bringing the Garbodor for hazards. It's his only real hazard. Well, Tentacruel does get Toxic Spikes, but those are the 2 real hazard setters he has. And then we have Trick Room. And Trick Room I'm using to set up for our Mega Ampharos, Bon Jovi. And I'm going with Thunderbolt, Dragon Pulse, Hidden Power Psychic. Most people don't run Hidden Power Psychic. If they're going to run a Hidden Power, it's like Fire, Ice. But I'm going with Psychic for the Venusaur and for the Garbodor. Once Mega Ampharos hits the scene, it has a special attack of 165. Everything's dropping. during practice battles with Mega Ampharos, when I've run the Trick Room set, I had HP Ice on it. It took out a Dragonite from full. Multi-scale didn't mean shit. Now, I know it's 4 times weak, but multi-scale basically reduces how much damage you take by half. So, that's huge. And Focus Blast is for the Blissey, even though it's not going to really do much. It's just there for GP, and there's not... Unfortunately for Mega Ampharos, it doesn't get the best move pool. I could have swore this thing actually got Psychic moves, otherwise I wouldn't have used Hidden Power Psychic, but it doesn't. But I need a Psychic move on this thing, because if I'm going to set up the Trick Room Sweep, and I'm going to make this thing faster than everything, because if you look at the stats here, I actually intentionally reduced its speed as much as possible. I took out all the EVs and IVs, I gave it a negative nature for speed. I need this thing to be super slow, so that when I bring it in after a Trick Room, it's going to outspeed fucking everything. Up next, we have Phoenix, our Halucha, with the Electric Seed. God forbid the Ampharos strategy doesn't work, or I need to change it real quick. I can bring in Phoenix, and the Electric Seed, if you don't know, an electric terrain raises the holder's defense by 1 stage and is a single-use item. With single-use item, that means with Unburden, our speed is going to double immediately. So that's going to be a defense boost and a speed boost immediately. That is amazing. And of course, I went with Substitute, like usual. Instead of Bulk Up, I went with Swords Dance, because if we have the boosted defense from the Seed, we don't really need to boost our defense much more than that. Swords Dance, we can boost our attack double. It means we don't have to do as much, and we can go right for the high jump kicks and acrobatics. Blissey does not like high jump kick at all. It doesn't even really like acrobatics either. And of course with acrobatics, because we use the Seed, it goes from a 55 base move to a 110 base move. So, at this point, I didn't really know what else to bring. I went with Mars Attacks, the Espeon, just because I might even lead with this. Just because if he brings the Garbodor, I'm going to lead with this, because he's likely going to lead with the Garbodor. And if he tries to set up hazards, I want this thing out. Oh shit, I got a Magic Bounce. Good thing I caught that. We want Magic Bounce on this thing, because it blocks status moves and bounces them back to the user. So if he's going to try and set up hazards, if Espeon is in there, they're going to bounce right back to them. So they'll have to take all of those hazards and not us. And for the move pool, I went with Psyshock because for the Blissey, because it's a special wall. But Psyshock is different because it damages based on defense and not special defense, even though it's a special move. So it's going to hit like a truck, and I got the Choice Specs, which is going to boost its special attack by 1.5. So it's going to hit everything like an absolute just monster truck. Dazzling Gleam is for the off chance the Hydreigon comes in on it, if he brings it. If he brings the Hydreigon and it comes in on Espeon and I click Dazzling Gleam, it's going to go down. It is absolutely going down. It's not going to like the Dazzling Gleam at all. It's 4 times weak to it. Grass Knot is for the Golem. I don't expect him to bring the Golem per se, but I want to have something for it just in case. I could also use Grass Knot on the Azumarill, unless he has Sap Sipper, which I don't think he will. Most people run the huge power set just because it's faster and you're not playing the long game, but there's a really nasty Sap Sipper set that, if you're willing to play the long game, can really fuck with people. And finally, I have Hidden Power Rock, which is for the Charizard. I'm going to try and get Stealth Rocks up for that Charizard, because it's 4 times weak to Rock, and Stealth Rock will immediately bring it down to half damage. And Espeon with Hidden Power Rock, I think is going to outspeed regardless. I think it outspeeds Charizard regardless. So, I'll have to look that up. I'll look that up after this video. But I'm like 90% sure that Espeon outspeeds it regardless. So Hidden Power Rock right on that thing, boom, it's dead. And finally, we have Turok, our Tyrantrum, which... this was definitely a case of I don't know what to bring, and I'm just going to go fuck it and bring something crazy. I'm going with a Choice Band set. This thing's physical attack is absolutely sky high. Choice Band's going to just double it. Or not double it, it brings it up 1.5. I don't want Strong Draw, I want Rockhead. Man, it's a good thing I'm doing this so I can change what I need to. Head Smash. Oh, Rockhead, if you don't know, because I do have people who watch this that aren't familiar with modern competitive. Rockhead basically removes recoil damage. So, from moves like Double Edge, you don't get the recoil damage. And in this case, we have the mighty Head Smash, which is base 150, and yes, it has an 80% accuracy, but if Head Smash hits, I don't care what the hell it is, unless it 4 times resists, it's gonna fucking hurt, if not kill. So a Choice Band Head Smash from a Tyrantrum is gonna fucking hurt. And we have Earthquake, which is for, like, Garbodor, who else does it? Tentacruel does not like it, even though it might not. Well, it's neutral because it's part dragon, so not a big deal. But Tentacruel won't like it. Dragon Claw, Hydreigon won't like it. Thunderfang, Tentacruel, Azumarill, they will not like Thunderfang. Although Azumarill could just hit it with a Play Rough. But point being, oh, I didn't even explain Montezuma's set, why I have what I have. I went with the physical set because not only is U-turn good for just getting out early, I put Brave Bird on it because for the Venusaur, in case he goes Mega Venusaur and Ice-type moves and Fire-type moves no longer are super effective, Brave Bird will hurt the fucking thing. Might not kill, but it'll hurt like a son of a bitch. I don't know if he's gonna bring Mega Venusaur. He hasn't brought it yet in any of his preseason matches or in his season or in his first match from last week. But I just to be prepared for everything, that's why I brought it. And Wild Charge is stab, it's gonna hurt like hell. Tapu Koko's attack is higher than its special attack. It's got 115 physical attack, but for some reason, and it has only 95 special attack, which is workable. But for some reason, when they made this Pokemon, oh, let's make a fast physical attacker, but let's give him all special moves. Seriously, his physical moveset is atrocious. But we can work with it. We can definitely work with it. The initial game plan is going to be set up the Surge with Tapu Koko, get out of there immediately or hit something depending on what it is. Go into Wesley Sniped, set up the Trick Room, set up rocks, go to Bon Jovi, and sweep. Now the reason why you want the Surge up, and the reason why the Surge is important, is because it not only electric terrain not only does the work for the seed that I have on Hawlucha, but it also boosts the power of electric attacks. So that's important because that Thunderbolt will do way more damage. So that is the team this week. That is the strategy. If for some reason Bon Jovi doesn't get the job done, we do have Hawlucha to come in and kind of finish the job. And these two are just kind of here to support the team, I guess. I don't really know what the hell else I'm doing with them. I didn't want to bring Gyarados this week because a lot of people are kind of expecting it, but prepare for it. And I'd rather... And since I'm not bringing Mega Gyarados, they would have ways to deal with that. One electric attack is going to just fry it, and I don't want to deal with that. So, this is the team this week. When I have the battle, I will record it. And until then, take care. Okay, everybody, so once again, I had issues recording the battle. I'm assuming it was a browser issue, so I downloaded Firefox, and hopefully that'll fix the issue going forward. For some reason, OBS does not like Chrome. I had Chromium, which is basically Chrome, but slightly different. I don't even know what the hell Chromium actually is. But we're trying this with Firefox. Hopefully this works. And because I honestly would much rather have you guys see the live battles and have my live reactions. But unfortunately, that wasn't the case. So we're doing this with a replay once again. And let's look at the team. He brought the Charizard, he brought Umbreon, he brought Savali, he brought Venusaur, he brought Azumarill, and he brought Hydreigon. Now, I was expecting the Garbodor and I was expecting the Blissey. He did not bring either of them, which kind of threw me off a little bit, I won't lie. But, as you'll see, we did alright. Now, at this point, I'm thinking he doesn't have the Garbodor, so I don't need to lead with Espeon. I can lead with Tapu Koko and start setting up for the Trick Room sweep that I initially wanted to do. So he starts with the Hydreigon. That's fine. I bring in Tapu Koko. I'm going to U-turn right out. Doesn't really matter what he goes into. He goes into the Venusaur. He probably expected me to bring Claydol at that point, and I bring Claydol right in. I'm specially bulky, so I'm not too worried about taking a Giga Drain or two. In fact, I can live 3 of them. Or I can live 2 of them. It takes 3 of them to knock me out. So, I set up my Stealth Rocks. I then set up my Trick Room. It's time for Wesley Snipe to get out of there. I go to Bon Jovi. We're going to Mega Evolve. And I go for the HP Psychic. Now, unfortunately, it did not kill. He gets the Earthquake. At this point, this sweep is done. It's not happening. He goes to the Umbreon, which is a special wall and is immune to HP Psychic. But Focus Blast, of course, had to miss. Just had to miss. It definitely would not have killed, I don't think. But it would have at least put some fucking damage on this thing. But he ends up killing... the Ampharos, so that strategy is completely out the window. At this point, I'm like, okay, plan B. Bring Tapu Koko back out. He's going to switch out to Silvally. Now, this Silvally really threw me off. It turns out that it's Silvally Ghost. Now, if you don't know about Silvally, because there are people who watch this that aren't familiar with modern Pokemon or modern competitive, Silvally is based on Arceus, which is like the god of Pokemon, and the gimmick with that Pokemon was, depending on the plate it was holding, it could change its typing completely. And Silvally has the same gimmick, and in this case, this Silvally happens to be a Ghost type. So, I go for the U-turn, it's resisted. I go to Hawlucha because I need to at this point. I need the seed to pop. I go for a substitute thinking that, okay, I can just set up, and even though it's a Ghost type, Acrobatics can still take it out. Unfortunately, he had Air Slash, which since I'm part fighting, that's super effective. That goes and destroys the substitute. I cannot Swords Dance at this point. So this is essentially another strategy out the window. And I had to basically just go for the damage I could. And for some reason, he couldn't kill me. And I'm about to go for another Acrobatics. He switches out, and I don't know why. He switches out, and I don't know why, because I don't think Acrobatics would have killed at that point, and even if it did, so what? I mean, this Hawlucha cannot set up, so it's not going to do the damage that it probably could. But I go for the high jump kick, and that's that. That Umbreon's gone. That's a defensive wall just completely gone. He goes for the Azumarill. I go for Acrobatics because high jump kick wouldn't do much. And yeah, Hawlucha's gone. So at this point, I'm thinking, okay, my main strategy's taken care of. My backup strategy's been thrown out the window. What the hell am I going to do? So I decided, okay, Tapu Koko is Choice Scarf. It's still fast. I'm going to try and go for a Wild Charge to at least take out this Azumarill, because he's probably not going to expect me to do that. And he might try to switch to Venusaur or something. I don't know. I don't know what he was thinking, because he actually sacks this thing off. It must have been Choice Bandit or something, because he did not go for the Belly Drum at all. He goes for Venusaur at this point, and now because I'm stuck in a Choice Scarf, I know Wild Charge is not going to kill this thing. So I decided to switch out to Wesley Snipes. He went for Earthquake. So at this point, I kind of have a turn to kill. So I sack off Wesley Snipes because I do not need him at this point. I go back to Montezuma, and I go for the Brave Bird to take out the Venusaur. That thing has been a pain in the ass all battle, so that's finally done. Hydreigon comes out. Now, at this point, I don't have a Fairy move on this thing, so I can't instantly kill it. I figure I'll just go for the Brave Bird. Tapu Koko has done everything that it can at this point. I'm just going to try and get the damage. He's probably Scarfed, so maybe he'll try to go for an Earth Power to take me out. Really hoping that he didn't, but turns out he did not have it. I go for the Brave Bird, it doesn't kill. He goes for Flamethrower, which takes Tapu Koko out, and that's fine. So at this point, I'm like, okay. He just went for Flamethrower, and he's most likely Scarf, because that's a primary thing that you run on Hydreigon to make sure that it outspeeds everything, because it's at that cusp of being of relatively fast mon. I think it's got like base 91 speed. It's at that cusp of being a pretty fast Pokemon, and the Choice Scarf just boosts it and makes it in a pretty good speed tier. So, I have a Rock Dragon type, which is 4 times resistant to that Flamethrower. And at this point, I'm like, okay, I'm Choice Band, we're going to just head smash everything. And, oh my god. Now, he decides to go for Defog here. And this was a bad play on his part. This was the wrong play. He should have gone for damage. Because at this point, regardless of hazards being in there or not, because Charizard takes half health from Stealth Rocks because it's 4 times weak to rocks. So when it comes in, it goes right down to half health automatically. However, because it's 4 times weak to rock moves, Head Smash being the strongest rock move from a fucking Tyrantrum with Rock Head and a Choice Band is going to kill it from full health regardless. So, if he had just gone for damage, Charizard could have outsped and done something to take this Tyrantrum out. But instead, he goes for the Defog. I Head Smash this thing to oblivion. Charizard comes in. He goes for the Solar Beam with Mega Charizard Y, because obviously with Drought, Solar Beam only takes 1 turn. You don't have to charge it. And even though it's neutral, Tyrantrum's special defense is like a wet napkin. However, it was just enough to live. And it takes the Charizard out. Now, I don't think if Tyrantrum fell that would have spelled the end of the battle. I really don't. Because Espeon, I made it fast as hell, and I did put HP Rock on it. And I do believe that it probably would have outsped. I don't know for sure, I'd have to look that up, but I'm like 90% sure it would have outsped. So, anyway, despite our strategies not working, we did win this battle. We are currently 2-0, so we are doing really well so far. I don't know who my next week opponent is yet, if I even have one, because once again, everyone does get a bye week. I am going away next week. I'm going to Houston to visit Matt, and or MD Punk if you know him from this channel. I'm going to visit him for a week, so I don't know if he's going to make that my bye week or not. It probably won't matter because I'm going to bring my laptop anyway, so I can still record everything, if not just record everything off of his computer. But that's fine, regardless. So, but if I have a battle next week, you guys will see it. If not, well, then you'll have to wait till the next one. But with that said, until next time, take care. Go Weezings.